Let's go, girls. Welcome to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, founder of Women in Wealth. From breaking money myths to building wealth and achieving financial freedom, we're here to empower you to create your own path. Talk Wealthy. Now, join the conversation and let's change the way women think and feel about money. Okay, ready? On today's episode of Talk Wealthy to Me, I am joined by powerhouse entrepreneur Rae Nicole, a woman who's built not just a multi-six-figure business, but a life and brand rooted in alignment, intention, and impact. With over 13 years of experience helping women break through self-imposed limitations and scale with strategy and soul, Rae shares her no-fluff approach to creating success that actually feels good. From mindset to business mechanics, Rae is all about helping women lean into their feminine authority, tap into their most authentic selves, and build the kind of wealth that supports their dream lifestyle. This conversation is all heart, all power, and all the permission that you need to go after your next big move. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talk Wealthy to Me. I am Michelle Taylor, your host, and I am so excited today to be joined by Rae Nicole. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
It's going to be great. I have to say first, I'm so sorry for my raspy voice. I have been traveling. It's summertime and
As you should.
I know, it's catching up with me. And anybody that knows me knows that when I get overtired or get a cold or anything like that, my voice is the first to tell on me. So bear with me, everybody.
No worries.
Well, okay, let's kick this off. I think there is so many things that you can share and talk through that are going to resonate with the audience. Tell us about you and your business and what you do.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm Rae Nicole. I have two companies. I have Rae Nicole Events, and I have the Fab CEO, which is a coaching business for women who own their own businesses and are looking to align their successful business to a lifestyle that they actually enjoy living and dream to live.
Oh my gosh. So I love that so much because of, well, a few reasons. One, everybody always focuses on building their business, but oftentimes are neglecting things at home, or it can be a little bit chaotic there. So I think there's a lot of work to do. And you explained to me before we started recording what FAB actually stands for. Tell us about that.
Yes. So FAB actually stands for Feminine Authority Babes. And it's women who are living in their feminine and taking out the stigma of working and building a business in your masculine and going with intuition and feminine flow and ease and just the joy of showing up as a woman in business in this world.
So this is such an important conversation because I feel that so many of us, especially, I'll just speak to my industry, it's heavily male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
So I know so many women that are in this space or in other spaces in sales or, in areas of work that are surrounded by men that they feel that they have to meet that energy and it feels inauthentic to them. Now, if you are listening and think that you show up with masculine energy, girl, do you? Yeah. Whatever makes you comfortable. But I feel like we have for so long had to kind of metamorphosize into what we think we should be showing up as. Mm-hmm. And there's so much power in showing up as your authentic self and being feminine. And it's okay to not wear suits every day if the boys are wearing suits, or to be emotional. So I love that you are really doubling down on that and talking about it.
Yeah, thank you.
So what brought you to realize this was something that needed to be a discussion?
Totally. So my background actually is when I first graduated college, I was actually working for a political organization. And you want to talk about male dominated.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
I was doing events for this organization. It was a C3, C4. And I showed up in that organization every day, ultra male dominated, ultra masculine, and I was exhausted. I was so worn down from showing up so inauthentically all the time that I went the complete opposite direction and said, I'm going to go into weddings because I can't do this anymore. So I went ultra feminine, or what I thought was ultra feminine. And then I saw a side of an industry that was a little catty and it was a little bratty. And I was like, wait, there's got to be this in-between place
Mm-hmm.
where we're not leaning into this ultra masculine, showing up in a push, 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 drive, 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 never rest, constantly go, show up as this, we call them like the mean bee. Or this catty side where I realized was actually just women showing up where they feel like they have to be the masculine. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times that
Oh, that's a good point.
cattiness is the masking of them not showing up as their authentic self. I find that a lot of times women just show up in this kind of catty world because they're the head bee or whatever, because they're masking how they actually want to show up.
Oh my gosh.
So I said, enough is enough.
That's a revelation right there. Makes you rethink a lot of the characters that you've come across in your working life. At least it does for me. That's
Mhm.
really interesting.
I always love to say that when you feel how others perceive you, it's actually your own perception of yourself because you don't know what that person is thinking whatsoever. So when you think that, oh, well, this person's acting a certain way, it's probably because it's their own personal perception of themselves trying to mask that insecurity.
Wow.
We got
There's
deep there.
I know. That's a lot. So, okay. So, women that are, you work exclusively in this business with female founders or business owners.
Yes.
And the purpose of your work is to make sure that the life they're building within their business is giving them the life on the personal side that they really want. And I'm sure you probably have to help them determine what that even is. So many times people will say, what's your why? And for women, I think it's so easy to say, well, I do everything I do because of my kids or my husband. And that's true,
Hmm.
but there's so many other layers to it.
Yes.
And so I feel like when you really know what the why is, the opportunities just fall at your feet
Oh,
because
yes.
you can relate to each of those things and be driven by something that is real and not something that you think you should be driven by.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so who are the women that you're working with typically? Are they new business owners or are they seasoned and kind of saying what else is there?
It's kind of funny because new or seasoned, it's women who have hit a point in their business where it is successful and thriving, but maybe it's not how they expected. And most of my clients come to me when they're feeling a little bit burnt out by their business because it's not in alignment, right? It's not hitting that why. It's not hitting that higher self version they thought they were going to achieve in their business. So I have one client who she's only 3 years in her business, but it rapidly hit success. And she's like, whoa, I didn't build the machine first. I just went and went and went, and I forgot to build the machine, right? I forgot to build the strategy, and I forgot that there's a part of me that loved this at one point. So it's women who have kind of lost their love, but want to get back, and it's sort of a coming home to yourself and what you love to do.
Oh, I love that. Coming home to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I know personally, again, not to pick on the boys, but going into an industry that I was surrounded by young guys when I was first starting, they were so driven by an accolade
Mm.
or a specific metric. And women, I know even just on the wealth building side, we're not driven as much by those things. We're more emotional.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking about the pretty picture at the end. So it's really important to find the alignment and not lose sight of what the reason was that you decided to build this business to begin with.
Yes, 100%.
So you have another company.
I do.
Tell us about that.
So I have Rae Nicole Events. It's
Okay.
an event planning company. Started off as just wedding planning, and now we do branding events and all kinds of fun different events and all over the world. I get to travel all over the place for this company. I just went to the Bahamas in Hopetown. I've got a wedding coming up there in November, and that's just a joy in my life. I've just built that business now and I get to enjoy it.
That's so much fun. It's a great way to travel
Yes.
as a business expense
Yes.
and a tax benefit
Yes.
and see amazing places.
Yeah.
So how how do you balance, and I know I want to just like shake myself for even saying that because I don't believe in balance, but how do you navigate both of those companies? Do you have great teams that are with you? Do you spend more time in one than the other? What does that look like?
So I think it goes back to what I was saying about building the machine first is I had to really, you're right. There is no such thing as balance. I think it's Years ago, I heard this woman say, and I wish I remembered her name, but she said that life is more like a river instead of a balance beam. And you have to imagine that everything is going to flow forward. And sometimes there's going to be these rushes from all these other streams that flow in. And sometimes it's going to be really still. And you just kind of keep flowing forward. And I was like, that's
Go
brilliant.
with the current.
That's life. Just go with the current.
It's
And
so true. It's such a lie. And nobody talks to the guys about work-life balance.
no,
Nobody sits down in an interview with a guy and says, how do you manage to own a company and be a dad?
right.
It just doesn't happen.
That's not a conversation.
So I think that it's so important that we all recognize, ladies, that it's all BS. There is no balance.
No.
There is no easy way. And we are no better equipped to balance than the guys are. It's more about just managing the current.
Yes.
And I love that.
Going with the flow.
So how do you do it?
So for me, at least, I just realized I always come back to me, my highest self, my authentic vision of who I want to be and how I want to show up in those businesses. And that's what I always tell my clients. Going back to your why, it's more about your higher vision of you. Who do you want to be and how do you want to show up in your business? I have some clients who only want to work 20 hours a week. That's great. That's all they do. And then other clients who really do want to just push and go and grind and then have a whole month off. And that's great as well.
Yeah.
But how do you want to show up, and then building the machine or the strategy in your business to support that? So you asked about, how I do both. In my wedding business, I have an incredible team. I love them. I could not do what I do without them. They're amazing. And I've built the structure with them and the support and the training to be able to, we talked about, I could travel the whole summer and my girls could run everything in that business.
That's nice.
It's great. It's amazing. And then with the coaching side of things, I just kind of set my boundaries and who I want to work with and when.
Well, and it's something that I've mentioned before where wealth doesn't just mean the money in your bank account. It means the options that you have.
Yes.
And by being strategic and smart around finances and what your business and your personal life is doing, it allows you to hire the right team, to travel,
yes.
and not feel like everything is going to get burned to the ground if you're not actively working in the business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
100%. And I love your podcast. I love everything you do. I love Women in Wealth. I love that you talk about that because I think that's such a huge common misconception. And I see you breaking down those walls. I see you breaking down those limiting beliefs that women put up for themselves, that you just constantly have to push and go. But like you said, you don't have to be in your business all the time. It's not going to burn to the ground. And I love everything you do because I think you're doing
so
great.
Much. And same from my end. I
Thank
think
you.
that it's these kind of conversations and challenging the narratives every day, every time that it's brought up. It cannot be said enough. In an age where everybody is putting their lives on social media, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, if you're not and you want to, there's so many opportunities there for side hustles and building a business and
yes.
all of it, right? But I think that the danger in that is when you look at that and think, her hustle looks different, so I'm doing something wrong. And that was kind of the premise when I was first sitting down with Hi Hello and Carlos and Carolina to build out what this podcast was going to be. I want there to be tactical things people can take away, but I also want there to be a sense of permission to truly build what you want. If you want to work and have a side hustle that just allows you to take a 2-week vacation in the year instead of one, or to more aggressively help your parents that need help financially, or to fly private, or to buy the handbag, or to be able to afford to have the wedding of your dreams or to the baby, it doesn't matter. And none of us are doing it the only way. We're doing it the way that's right for us. And I think that once women start acknowledging that, your hustle doesn't have to look like my hustle. And again, that's going back into the feminine, because I remember starting in this business, going through training, it was like, you better be the first one in the office. You better be the last one to leave, or you don't want it as bad as this other person. And coming into this industry, there's so many like finance bros that I was surrounded by. I was a career changer. So I came in already married, trying to get pregnant, going through IVF. And yeah, this guy sitting next to me that's 25 years old, sure, he can work 14-hour days because his life looks different, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important as women that we always remind not only ourselves, but our colleagues, our friends, our daughters, our nieces, any woman in your life, your hustle only needs to look the way that it needs to look for you, not to someone else. Comparison is a thief of joy.
Absolutely.
So let's break down kind of how you came into this. Did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
So, transparently, I am kind of high maintenance, and I knew I was never going to do well working for somebody else.
That's a great thing to realize as early in your life as possible.
Yes, 100%. I said, you know what? I don't want to be told how to do this, when to do this, and what to do with this. So I'm just going to go do it how I want to do it.
I love it.
And I did. And that's when I decided I'm going to start building my own business.
Yeah, I love that. So when you decided,
Mm-hmm.
did you have somebody who you looked to that kind of paved the way or was an example of somebody who had done it the way that you hoped to do it? Or did you learn as you went?
I'm definitely a learn as I go.
Mm-hmm.
My husband probably thinks I'm insane because I'm the kind of person that can get a box from IKEA and just start. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is IKEA. You're crazy. We got to follow the directions or we're going to get lost. So I'm a picture person. I look at the
I love
pictures
it.
and I say, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I had a person that I said, you know what? I know her. I think she's wonderful. And when I first started my business, I actually worked with her and I said, do you want to be my business partner? Because she was my strategy side where I was the dreamer visionary side. And she complimented me so much. And I will say that to any woman out there who said competition is a thief of joy.
Comparison.
Comparison or competition, I think.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do better than lean on your fellow woman. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing you can do better than build your community of fellow authentic women to support you and build you up and bring you to the point that you can be at, and vice versa for other people. You are going to get so much further when you can have those people on your side and working with you to get you to that point.
Well, it's funny because two things there. One, I am so excited, not to age myself, but growing up in the late 80s and 90s, women were very competitive with each other.
Yes.
And I feel like I have seen a big shift there where we are all more supportive. There is a big push to support other women business owners and collaborate on things, which I'm super excited about for us and the generations coming through. But also, I talk all the time, I call it the string and the balloon. You can't have a string with no balloon, and a balloon would float away without the string. You
Right.
need to find the person that complements your weaknesses and vice versa if you decide to have a partner in whatever you're doing.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like a marriage too, but if
Oh,
you
100%.
yeah, if you if you're building a business, you can't both go out and like burn everything to the ground and have the big dreams, but no one is there to make sure that these things are actually being
Mhm.
implemented. So you found a woman that complimented you.
Yes. She was my strategy. I was a visionary at the time, and we just hit the ground running. We learned as we went, and we built it up.
And now are you still partners?
We are not. So, we're best friends still. She's amazing. We're the best of friends, but she decided when she started her family that her life was taking her in a different
Mhm.
direction, and she's actually built her own business, and she's an incredible entrepreneur at what she does, and I love watching her thrive. She's still in the Orlando community, and I'm cheering her on. So, it's great.
I love that. And so how did you guys navigate? I know in my consulting work, I talk all the time to women that have gone into business with someone that is a friend or an existing relationship, even a family member. And we'll talk. The last episode that I recorded was with somebody in the legal space, and we were
Mm.
talking about how important it is to have the right documents in place. And I think that for women, we're so quick to say, "Oh, we're best friends. We don't need an operating agreement or a buy-sell agreement or anything like that." And I always challenge people and say, have the tough conversations while you love each other instead of trying to have them if someone's feelings are hurt. Did you all do it that way and exit peacefully, or was it a little bit bumpy?
No, 1000%. We went in, and I think you're right. Most of the time it looks like, "Oh, it's okay.
We're besties.
We're
It's
great. We're
fine.
gonna hug and it'll be
I
fine."
know.
No. So we went in the right way. We did all the legal documents, we signed the contracts, we did everything we needed to do to kind of get essentially when we walked away, she finished out her clientele and that was part of the agreement, and then I bought her side of the business out, and that was it. We shook hands and said, love you, we're great." But there was definitely times during that business where you never know. There's highs and lows.
Well, yeah, and you get frustrated with each other.
Oh my
You
gosh.
can-
You talk about marriage.
yeah.
I said, I think because of you, I got therapy from my husband back home.
Well, and when you think about how many times, I don't know about you all, I've been married for 12 years with my husband for 15, and I have said more than a couple times, I love you so much. I will like grow old with you, but right now I seriously just cannot stand to even
Yeah,
look at
I don't
you.
like you. I don't like
That's
you right
what
now.
happened with people you love. So
Yes.
have the tough conversations in the beginning.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you did that.
Yes.
And okay, so growing up, when you envisioned life and success, what did it look like? Is it the life you're living today? Is it still something that you're working towards? Was there that one thing that you thought, man, when I can do X, I will know that I am successful?
Hmm. That's such a fun question. So I think it's in phases, right? You hit different phases in your life. When I was younger, I was a little girl. Um, my dad actually owned a real estate business in the
Okay.
Panhandle. When Hurricane Opal hit, and then when the recession hit, it wiped everything out.
Yeah.
I remember in middle school and I don't know, do they have middle school still? I think they do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in middle school, the popular brands were Hollister and Abercrombie.
Oh, don't I remember?
Oh, yes. And it's all coming back now.
Abercrombie sidebar, you guys, has done a really good job of like maturing with their target audience. If you go in there and you
Yes.
shop there in the 90s, there's still stuff for us.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It
But anyway,
is.
go ahead.
But that was the brand. And I just remember after everything that happened with the business, it was the conversation of no, that's $45 for a t-shirt. And actually
Mhm.
back then it was probably $35 for a t-shirt. We can't afford that. We can go get 4 t-shirts at Walmart for $35. We don't need the name brand stuff. So when I was younger, for me, it was like, that's it. I'm going to make it when I can get name brand, when I can get luxury cars, when I can get luxury purses, and I can wear Chanel perfume and all this stuff, right? And then I got to that point when I was working in a political organization that I mentioned, and I got the Chanel perfume and I got the brands, and I was like, wait, I'm broke as a joke and I have the brands. What happened? This isn't what I thought it was supposed to be. Then I thought, oh, okay, well, it means that I've got all this money in savings and I've got everything here. And it wasn't until I kind of met my husband, started my business, and realized wealth for me now looks like peace. It looks like investments. It looks like having generational wealth for my son. It looks like building something that I get to just go, okay, I can travel when I want to travel. I can do what I want to do. I can build a life that I love.
It- It's so true. And I don't know for anyone listening, that just hits me in the gut because it was the same thing for me. I remember Doc Martens
Yes.
and
Oh,
JanSport backpacks and
yes.
all of these things that just were not something that my mom could do. She was providing for me in every way. I was, in dance classes and all the things. And it was always that thing like, okay, this means that we can afford it. But now what I feel so many women do is they buy the things, but at what cost?
Mm,
And this is never going to be a podcast or advice you get from me to say, don't indulge the things that you love. I indulge in the things I love, but don't risk your breath of fresh air of financial security to do
mhm.
it. And I think that there's so much power in giving yourself the permission to chase the things you want to chase, but also allowing it to evolve over time
Yes.
and to give yourself the um, space to say, okay, I hit this goal. That girl 15 years ago would have
Mhm.
been so proud of me
Yes.
wearing this perfume, and I'm going to just celebrate that for a minute. But the girl 5 years from now, what does she look like? How do I get to her? How do I evolve? And it's
Yes.
like, there's a song or something that talks about like giving your past self flowers or whatever. And I think it's so cool to think it that way because we're supposed to evolve.
Yes.
So that mindset, that scarcity mindset of we can't afford that, is that something that you have carried with you and had to fight against? Or is it something that you like leaned in on and now found yourself practicing when you didn't need to anymore?
It wasn't something I started leaning into until I started my coaching business, until I actually hired a coach and saw that side of things. Um, I didn't even realize, like most women, I didn't even realize it was a limiting mindset. I didn't realize that I had a scarcity mindset. I didn't realize it was holding me back from so much until I addressed it and started realizing that not only does it hold you back from buying the things or indulging or living a life that you dream, it holds you back from making money. It holds you back from feeling worthy of money. It holds you back from feeling worthy of a lifestyle and wealth that you want. It's all a mindset trick.
So much of what we do is mental.
Mhm.
And I do think that there's advice out there that is half truths. For example, fake it till you make it.
Mm,
That doesn't mean to go into debt to buy the
yes.
thing. When I first started in this industry, going back again to that beginning time, I remember my managing partner telling someone, your monthly expenses are not high enough. Go buy a car you can't afford. Oh, yes, girl. Go buy
Um,
a car you can't afford. Go, buy a house or rent a property that you cannot afford so it'll make you work harder. That's terrible advice,
that's
by the
terrible
way.
advice.
Terrible advice, especially going into an industry like mine where it's like 1 in 10 people that decide to do it
Right.
actually make it. It's hard. It is hard. But I remember thinking, like, that doesn't feel like fake it till you make it should feel. What I think that that means, and it goes into what you just said, is the mindset of treat money, treat your life the way that you want to show up. Be disciplined around certain things. That is a trait that somebody who is financially secure probably has. If you're not disciplined, fake it until you are. Make sure that you're working on that. But it doesn't mean the material things because that can just set people further back. And going back to the mindset piece, it is truly so important. Anyone listening, I hope that you take this and really think through it. The way that you talk about money to yourself, to your girlfriends, to your children is setting in stone the money story they will live with until they meet someone like a Rae or a me or somebody that talks through this. And that can either be really good or really bad. And I'm glad to hear that you recognized it and have kind of like released it because it isn't serving where you're headed.
Right. And I think it's something that everyone has to work on constantly. I think about when I hired a personal trainer for my wedding. What
Mhm.
you were saying, it I always relate it back to when you're trying to get to a healthier space. It's the consistency and the working on it and in the way and the progress that you can, not the crash dieting or the going crazy because that can just set you back even worse. And
Yeah.
it's to me, it's all the same,
It's
right? So it's
impossible to
the
stick to.
yes, it's the faking it till you making it in the mindset of just what are they gonna if I'm at this goal weight or if I'm at this goal financial place or whatever, what is this person doing? How is that
How are
person
they
living?
showing up?
Yes. Yes. So I
And
love that you said that.
that is a better way. And I think the whole fake it till you make it people always think about that in the materialistic way,
Mhm.
right? Same people in the beginning of my career saying, everybody looks at your shoes, your pen, and your
Oh,
watch. So those are the first things that you should buy. And that's great until you can't afford your credit card bill and you're not paying your bills. And now you're building stress in your life that wakes you up in the middle of the night. And for anybody that has listened to prior episodes, I've been there as well. I think the important thing is figuring out who you need to be today in order to show up authentically and be a mentor for each prior version of yourself?
Ooh.
So for me, I grew up, my mom was an amazing example in so many ways. My dad was really good at making money, but didn't invest it the right way, was, robbing Peter to pay Paul in the beginning of his business. So like take that piece of making money the right way and then take the discipline that my mom had. And then I had another family member that was very successful, very affluent in business. And he was doing the right things with the connections and the philanthropic causes, but not necessarily a good person. So it's like
Mm.
how, and that I think is such a mission for me within Women in Wealth, is encouraging every woman out there to be the person that the past versions of yourself needed. Take pieces from the examples you had, absorb them, and do better. Make the next best decision. It's all we have the power to do, and it changes everything.
It does. I love that.
So, what are some big wins, good decisions you made financially? And then, what are some maybe not so great decisions you made that someone listening could think, wow, I was going to do that. Now I won't?
So I definitely resonate with the rob Peter to pay Paul. When
Mm-hmm.
I was building the business in the beginning, there was a lot of patterns and habits that I built of just, well, I'm just going to do this because I've got this money coming in, so I know I can just back pay that. There
Mm-hmm.
was tons of back pay patterns, and we actually built a studio space. Well, built, excuse me. We redid a studio space, and we're going to rent it out and everything. And then COVID hit. And we had invested all this money into this space. And we had to pay back partners, and we had to pay back rent, and we had to pay back, all these different materials and everything else. And when COVID happened and we had no
It was
business,
shut down.
it was completely shut down for weddings, events, everything. The world was shut down. And so that was my ultimate low of, whoa, I thought I had realized what I needed to do, but I'm doing this completely incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just stressing myself out more. And so that was really the shift. That was the moment when I said, okay, I'm going to reframe how I think of money in my business, in my life, and wealth in general. And that just kind of helped me build those steps to get to a
Catapult.
better place. Absolutely. Sometimes it's great experiences, and sometimes it's lows like that. And for me, it was the low.
And it's so funny, right? Because it's that balloon mentality that you have.
Hmm.
I'm a balloon. And I think about my best friend and I were moving to Italy to open a boutique in the States and import goods from Europe. And that was during the recession. And I remember we hadn't even left yet. And we bought an antique couch. And my dad said, why are you buying a couch for a store you don't own and you're moving to Italy for a year? What are you going to do with it? I'm going to put it in storage.
Right.
Why? But I can see the picture. It's going to be so
It'll be
beautiful in the
beautiful.
entryway. And yeah, and that was a good quick lesson for me when
Hmm.
now it's like this couch that was cheap, I'm paying to store, and bad decision. Should have listened to my dad. But okay, so that was a not great thing you did. What do you think is a nugget that has really made a difference for you when it comes to not just owning the business, but just money, building wealth, some good habits that you are proud of that can maybe help somebody listening?
Yeah, absolutely. So from that came my, okay, I need to learn how to build strategy. I need to learn how to build the machine. And that's what started me diving into all of this. And the best thing I can say is create the habits. The best habit I ever did was create the habits. I created the consistency of constantly looking at my bank accounts. I think so many women are afraid to even just look at their bank account or talk about it. So my husband and I, every single week, we talk about our finances. We sit down and we talk about what have we paid off, what's upcoming, what's our
I
plans for.
love it.
Yes, I have already started an investment fund for my son, and it's about building the structure and the habits and the consistency of constantly checking in. And I tell my clients that too with building their business. It's the checking in of, again, what we've been talking about the entire time, how you want to show up and who you want to be. I think in a world where we talked about with social media and the comparison, like you talked about earlier too, the other thing is that we can lose who we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier now than it ever was with all the noise to be swayed as how we show up and who we
Yep.
are. So for me, it's the consistency of the reality and the coming back to who I am.
Yeah. And like I've said this a million times, but be true to your school. Whoever
Mm,
you are, my dad has grown up saying that to me forever. Be true to your school, be true to who you are, and have the consistency and discipline. You guys, it's just like, I read a book and I mentioned this before, but The Compound Effect, have you ever read it?
mm-hmm.
It's so good. And I'll use like a caloric example on this, but it really resonated where it's like to lose a pound, you have to like burn 3,200 calories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you stop drinking one Coke a year and replace it with water, like it will result in 6 pounds down or whatever. And it was
Right.
like, man, those small little moves, just like putting money into an investment account. I've had so many people tell me, okay, but if this minimum is super high and I can only start here, should I just wait? And the answer is always no.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait. Start building up to it. And if you can't let yourself feel the win of building the muscle, then that's a whole other conversation. But nobody knows where you're starting. All that matters is you're starting and you're showing up
Amen.
and building the habits. And I think that that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know your son is a munchkin still.
He is. He's 2.
So you're probably not talking about money things just yet.
Not yet,
But it is one of those things where it's like, you already started an investment account.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Starting to have the conversations, keeping them really basic, whether your kids are 2 or 20, they're like sponges. And just remember everything that you're talking about, even when you're talking with your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
they are picking up on.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's already got money working for him is bound to help create a good muscle moving forward. So what's next for you and your businesses? Are you focusing on one more than the other? Are you in growth mode for one more over the other? What does that all look like?
Definitely in growth mode for the coaching side. Totally excited about Fab. I am so excited to be launching that membership at the end of the year, and we'll be starting some live events coming in September, which I'm so excited to share
It's gonna
more
be so
information on. I
great.
can't wait. I know we got to talk about
Yeah.
that before. I'm so excited for that. In the wedding world, we're amping up for fall season, but again, my team is amazing and they've got it all handled and locked in and under control. And I'm just excited I'm excited to work with incredible women to see where their lives take them and how we can expand on their business in a way that feels really good for them.
I'm excited to watch all of that happen. And when you just said that last piece about the wedding, it made me think of something. I know that a lot of listeners are in that stage of life where they're getting married.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like when you are coming in as the planner and watching women deal with paying for a wedding? Do you see them overspend a ton, or do you see them get a little bit more loose and then regret it with some of the decisions they're making?
So I always say, I've been doing weddings for a long time, almost 13 years now. So I always say I'm not a car salesman, and not to rag on car salesmen,
No, I understand.
but I'm not a car salesman when it comes to your wedding. And I tell my clients, I don't know what your values are versus mine. I know what I valued on my wedding, and I know what I wanted to invest in, and I also knew where my budget was.
Mm-hmm.
So with my clients, the very first thing we go through when we build their design deck is their budget. And I just want them to be honest. I say, just be honest with me.
Because it doesn't matter to you.
It doesn't matter. But I'm not going to design something that's $500,000 more than you're willing to spend, or even $100,000 more. So where do you want to be? And let's design within those expectations. I think, again, social media has this way of blowing things out of proportion. And I really try to bring my clients back down to the reality is it's going to be a great day because you're having a great day.
Mm-hmm.
You're in love. And all your friends and family are there to support you. So we're just going to make it how you want to make it. And some of my clients, I have clients who they want to invest in fireworks. That is their value moment. That is what they want. Okay, we've adjusted the budget for that. And I have other clients who they want to invest in the dance party. So that's where we invest and we can move things around. I never expect my clients to overindulge. And I do think I try to even come back down to, hey, let's reevaluate where we're at. Let's always
Mm-hmm.
check in on your budget. Let's always make sure that we're feeling comfortable. Because if my clients turn around at the end of the day and they're not comfortable with what they spent on it's a huge investment. Sometimes it's almost as much as a house.
Well, and then it's always going to taint the memory of the day.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
at every stage in life, I think that it's important to be true to your school, your
Yes.
budget, understand, give yourself a spending plan, understand
Yes.
what you're willing. And I know, like at the end, it's so easy to get caught up. When I got married,
Oh, so easy.
I remember I got married at a gorgeous venue here in Orlando. And towards the end, you get so excited. It's so easy to say, oh, yeah, we'll just do that. Or, you know, my wedding planner, who I adore and am still, good friends with, I remember us talking about how do we get the wedding featured in a magazine?
Oh, yes.
And it was like, oh, but will making this choice get me featured? And I made a lot of stupid money decisions around our wedding. I tell everybody I don't regret a single thing, but if I went back and did it now, you realize that those little things to hopefully get you published, it doesn't matter. So I think having those conversations,
Yes.
and I'm so excited to hear that you do that because a lot of planners out there don't. They'll say, what's your budget? And then they go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I think communication, realistic expectations, and painting the picture is so important around getting married, buying a house, building wealth,
Any investment.
any of it.
Any investment. It's the communication part. And I think going back to what you were saying about the step by steps, again, it's why having women like you in this world who guide women to this is so important. I think that for women, it's so intimidating sometimes because we can often hold ourselves back when we don't know everything.
Mhm.
We feel like we have to know everything before we take the step.
Or even raise your hand to say you don't.
Yes. And that if I could say anything to younger me, it's okay. Raise your hand and
Mhm.
just take the first step, like you said, because it's not as big and scary and overwhelming if you just finally do it. And again, having women like you in this world who guide women and teach them about wealth and help them is so incredible because we need more of that.
Just making, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you. But yeah, it's like making the next best decision.
Yes.
Who cares what you decided before, the mistakes you've made?
Right.
The next best decision is all you can hope for.
Right.
Well, I have enjoyed chatting with you so much. I'm lucky because we get to see each other
Yes.
outside of this space. You are part of Women in Wealth. And for anybody that is looking for you and to follow you, they can follow you where?
So I have the Fab CEO, which is on Instagram, _ the Fab, FAB CEO for my coaching page,
Okay.
and Rae Nicole Events for my wedding page.
And then, of course, I think I've mentioned this probably a dozen times, but the I've Got a Girl community within Women in Wealth, you are also a part of that amazing movement. So for anybody that is in the community, you can find her there, but find the people. That's the best thing I can say to anybody listening. Open up, be vulnerable, find the right people that were going to help you be the best version of yourself and paint the most beautiful future. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And am so excited. Hopefully we can do this again. For any of you that have not heard me say this before, please help me change the way women think and feel about money. Share, like, subscribe, all of the things. Having the conversations is the easiest way to do it. And as always, if there's anybody that you would like to hear on the podcast or need a topic covered, send us some DMs and my team will make sure that that happens. Until next time, let's change the way women think and feel about money together.